Just got back from seeing Captain America Brave New World. Let's talk about it, shall we? Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Just got back from seeing Captain America 4, Cap 4, Brave New World, and I'm going to talk about the movie. Now, I'm going to keep away from the heavy spoilers because, I'm going to get into some, plot details for sure, but, the heavy spoilers, possible cameos or oh my god type moments, saving that for the podcast on Sunday night. So guys, check out Storms Live Sunday night to get in all to the spoiler details. But for this, I'm going to try to keep it vague other than plot points that are in this movie. So I guess if you haven't seen the movie, you might want to go see the movie because I'm going to get into some of the plot details about the cameos and special, oh my god, special surprises. I'm not going to get into that with detail. I'm going to say that for the podcast. So I was actually kind of worried about this movie going in because I seen the Rotten Tomatoes score, and like I said, I don't ever go by the Rotten Tomatoes score. You can't go by that. If you think a movie is going to be something you're interested in, go see the movie. Don't worry about the Rotten Tomatoes score. But with that said, I have been avoiding the online community since Thursday night because there's been so many things out there about the film, and I just didn't want it tainted for myself. Even my friends among my group, my fellow podcast members were talking about it, and I almost blocked them because I don't want to know anything about this movie. But I went into this movie each day lowering my expectations even more just to be on the safe side. And I'll be happy to tell you guys, I actually really enjoyed this movie a lot. Is it a spectacular, incredible film? Oh my god, it's one of the best MCU films of all time? No. But I keep saying this, and I don't know how many people, I don't know how many people agree with me, and I don't care if people agree with me or not. I just feel like once we get past Endgame, we're never gonna have that incredible oh my god moment again. For me, it's just more important if a movie is just solid. Just don't waste my time. Don't Madam Web me. Don't Craven me. Don't waste my time. As long as the movie's solid and it has a good foundation and is entertaining and it pushes the plot forward, I find it enjoyable. That's all I really need. I don't need oh my god moments. I feel like you can only do that so much until the audience is kind of desensitized from that and you can no longer get that reaction from people. Now, when it came to Captain America Brave New World, like I said, I went in with lower expectations just because of some of the things that I've heard. I was actually impressed by the movie. I actually really, really enjoyed the movie. I enjoyed the first half of the movie a lot more than the second half of the movie, but I really enjoyed a lot of the stuff that they tried to set up in this movie. I appreciate that they paid off and answered a lot of questions. Now, I will say this is an Incredible Hulk sequel without the Incredible Hulk in it. And it works and it kind of doesn't work because a lot of the themes that happened in the Incredible Hulk, if you've seen that movie, then yeah, it kind of works in a political atmosphere that would make sense for a Captain America movie. A lot of those things, yes, because the government probably would get involved after the Abomination and Hulk tear down Harlem. The government probably would get involved, which would probably have to hide some secrets, and Ross would probably have to answer to that at some point. So it actually makes sense in the Captain America movie for that to happen. What doesn't really work with me is the later half of the movie because the political stuff and the intrigue and the conspiracy and the mystery, all that works for Captain America. That's one of the reasons why I love Winter Soldier so much. And it works in this movie. But there's certain things that don't work in this movie, but I actually enjoy the fact that they go back and they reference this stuff and they pay a lot of that stuff off. I really enjoyed that a lot of the elements that were set up in the Incredible Hulk is now paid off 30 years later or something like that. But I'm glad that paid off. Another thing I'm really happy about is the MCU acknowledging why there hasn't been an Avengers movie. We sat there, I don't know how many times me and my friends just sat there and go, the biggest problem is we haven't had an Avengers movie. There was no Avengers movie for the end of Phase 4, none for Phase 5. What's going on? I'm glad they explained that in this one. Oh, you know what? I never thought of it like that. You know, when they said it in the movie, I was like, "Holy buckets of wiener craps, Khan!" I never thought of it like that. Yes, that would make sense. You know, I forgot about the what was it, the Sokovia Accords that everybody signed in Civil War. Yeah, that would make a whole lot of sense. We just take it for granted because of what happened in Endgame. That like, oh yeah, like everything is gone now, but no, they're still in effect. That makes sense. Okay, I appreciate you answering that for me. Another thing that I really, really appreciate was the fact that they finally answered what the celestial thing in the middle of the freaking Indian Ocean. I appreciated that. I appreciate that. I don't know how, and this is why I lean on the side of really enjoying this movie. For anybody who wants to skip ahead, like, I'll just give you my final rating now. Like, I think the movie is a solid 8. Like, I'll give it a solid 8. Right? Like I think 9 is like, oh my god, and 10 is like spectacular. I think 8 is better than average. And I find this movie better than average because how many MCU movies have we walked out of since the beginning of phase 4 that were like, oh, okay, how does it push the plot forward? Right? Like, okay, well, how does it push the plot forward? What's going on? Like, what does this do for the plot? Like, as much as we like Shang-Chi, like what did it do for anything? Like, nothing. It didn't do anything, right? This movie at least existed in the fact that, hey, we're wrapping up this storyline with the leader. We're wrapping up like what happened with Ross and his entanglement with the super soldier serum and the gamma radiation and all that. We're wrapping all that up. We're explaining why you haven't gotten an Avengers film. Oh, and that big ass celestial that's hanging out of the Indian Ocean that happened in the Eternals movie that nobody cared about. Yeah, we're addressing that too. And it makes sense that, yes, you look at the political climate in our world. Of course, if we had like a celestial just pop up, every country would be trying to mine it for something. Like, it makes sense. Like, it makes sense that that would be in a Captain America movie. Because again, Captain America movies are more grounded. They're more political, like Winter Soldier. Is this movie Winter Soldier? Oh, hell no. But we're talking about the Russo brothers, guys. Like, the Russo brothers are up here. It's in terms of, like, Russo brothers are Tom Brady. Every other director in the MCU, they're Josh Allen, they're Patrick Mahomes, they're Lamar. You know, some of them are pretty good. Some of them are Patrick Mahomes. Ryan Coogler, he's Patrick Mahomes, but no one's the GOAT. No one's Tom Brady. The Russo brothers are Tom Brady, guys. And so, did I expect this movie to be the level and quality of Winter Soldier? No. But I thought they did a fine job explaining the Incredible Hulk stuff, make it fit in the context of this movie, add a lot of intrigue, add a lot of that conspiracy stuff, and have me like wanting to know what was going on. I liked the whole interaction with Ross and Sam Wilson. I liked all that, the whole dynamic. I liked the politicalness to it. I liked the undertones and the ideals behind it when Sam is trying to explain to what's his name, Isaiah, why it's important for him to work with Ross, that he knows Ross is a horrible guy, but he knows the importance of him as Captain America working with Ross and what that means. You need, like should Captain America work for the government? Should he not work for the government? There's so many political and ethical questions that this movie brought up in the first half of the movie, and I was like, yes, this is what I want, because even Steve Rogers had these dilemmas and these questions when it came to the Shield, when Sam Jackson, Nick Fury, and Shield, and the fact that Winter Soldier, how Shield had like basically built like this whole technology that can just eliminate anybody who could possibly be a threat in the future, and the ethical choice behind that Steve Rogers did not agree with. So I love that whole part of the movie with what it means for Cap to work for the government, work with Ross after all the horrible stuff Ross has done, and the ethical and political undertones of all that decision. I thought all that was handled very, 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 very well. And the fact that you bring back Liv Tyler and you fix up that story with her and Ross, and I really enjoyed that. The leader stuff. Again, the explanation of the whole Celestial and the what it means to this world now that it's been revealed, and treaties and governments trying to mine this thing. And I just thought all of that was really fascinating. Where it falls apart for me at the end was the villain and the final fight. I just felt like didn't really feel Captain America-ish to me. There's a lot of stuff from Captain America that I wish was in here. Like, where's Sharon Carter? Like when at one point when Sam was like, "Oh, I know a girl on the inside," I'm like, "Oh, he's gotta be talking about Sharon Carter." Nope, not Sharon. Amy Jo Johnson, not Amy Jo Johnson. That's Pink Ranger, guys. Wrong person. I was thinking Amy from Everwood, but that's who plays Sharon Carter, and she's nowhere to be in it. No Zemo mentioned. Like, a lot of stuff that I felt like from the Falcon Winter Soldier show that could have been brought over, should have been brought over, and none of that was brought over. I found that was a little disappointing. But other than that, like, I really did enjoy this movie. I felt like the third act kind of really tanked the score a lot. I was like, oh, so this is sort of where we're going. I guess it makes sense in the context of the story that you're telling. I wish it was a little something different, to be honest with you, but I guess it makes sense. I guess if you're gonna go with this leader story and his vendetta against Ross and everything that Ross did, yeah, I guess that makes sense. But yeah, like, where's Sharon Carter? Another thing that I didn't really like, but it wasn't a big deal to make me give the movie a different score. I didn't like the new characters. I didn't like the new Falcon. He kind of felt like a Wish version of Falcon. I didn't like the lady who basically got the same skill sets as Black Widow, like this little midget lady. She felt like the Wish version of Black Widow. I'm just like, you have Black Widow's sister in the MCU. You have Sharon Carter, right? Like, you have Bucky. Why didn't you utilize the Captain America characters? Maybe you wanted this movie to stand out on its own. Let Anthony Mackie shine. I thought Anthony Mackie shined anyway. I thought Anthony Mackie was one of the best parts, probably the best part of the movie. And I really liked him in Falcon Winter Soldier. But at the same time, you need to have Captain America characters in Captain America. Like, you have this new girl and working next to Ross, and I'm just like, well, why does she have a connection with Falcon, or Sam Wilson rather? He's not Falcon anymore. Why does she have a connection with Sam Wilson? Why isn't that Sharon Carter? What's going on with Sharon Carter? Because we know something was going on with her in the Falcon Winter Soldier show. It was just kind of weird. Like, it was just a lot of, like, no payoffs for that sort of stuff, where they just kind of went a different direction. But I think the pros outweighed the con, because the cons that I have are sort of just like what ifs. Like, yeah, I think you should have had Bucky. Yeah, I think you should have had Sharon Carter. Yeah, I think you should have had Zemo. But I'm glad that you paid off the Incredible Hulk stuff. I'm glad you paid off the Celestial stuff. I'm glad you paid off the why there hasn't been an Avengers movie. And I actually appreciate that the end post-credit scene, there's only one post-credit scene, it actually ties into what's going on. It ties into the end credit scene for Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. It's going to tie into the upcoming Secret Wars movie. It ties into that. When he said what he said, if you ever read the Incursion stuff, Secret Wars with, I believe, I think Jonathan Hickman did it. You know what's coming. You know what he was referencing, and I'm happy for all that. And Harrison Ford, even though I didn't like him being recasted as Ross because the original actor passed away, I would have much preferred like Sam Elliott. I thought he did a pretty good job being Ross. I kept watching it and I kept thinking that's Harrison Ford. Never once did I ever think of him as General Ross. I just kept thinking him going, "Get off my damn plane." You know, he felt like Harrison Ford in Air Force One. He didn't feel like General Ross. Even when they showed him in a couple scenes with a mustache, like, oh, guys, that's General Ross. Didn't feel like Ross. Felt like Harrison Ford. I think they could have just went and got Sam Elliott, who played General Ross in the Eric Bana Incredible Hulk movie. So I can see Sam Elliott playing that character, or maybe someone else. But Harrison Ford, I just saw Harrison Ford. You know, but overall, I left the movie very, very positive. I know there's probably a bunch of stuff that I left out that I'm just not thinking of right now. Like I said, there are some special moments in this movie. There are some moments where I don't want to spoil for anybody, but overall, I'm going to give it an 8. It might drop down to a 7 if I think about it overnight. Right now, I'm giving it an 8 because I appreciate the movie didn't waste my time. Like, so many times we watch a movie and we're like, where's this going? How does this lead into the future of the MCU? What's going on, Kevin Feige? How come you're not leaving us any like answers or clues or setting up anything? This movie did that. And I didn't feel like I wasted my time. Like, I felt like I got payoff for investing my time. It's like, thank you for giving me that. Thank you for explaining that. Thank you for like leading us to the next chapter instead of just stringing us along with a carrot on the stick. But anyway, I think I liked it more than most. I don't know. I haven't heard what my friends said because I've been avoiding everybody like the plague. But yeah, I really enjoyed the movie. I'm very curious to see what you guys think. So please, if you have seen the movie, please tell me what you think in the comment box below. Smash that thumbs up and subscribe if you're not a subscriber to the channel. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you. Till next time, as always, I am Robert Storms, and that's my opinion.